Okay, so let's take a look at what you were talking about in terms of the dozer lines.
So just like I said before, and I know the shape is a little can be misleading with it, but we try to build a box around it, and then so what you see all these up right here are completed dozer lines, these little X's that we have right here, and then these other little spots where the X's and kind of you can see on the legend right here, these are basically the proposed dozer lines that we have. So it's almost like a secondary, a third, a fourth type of contingent plan that we have in place that actually helps that to prevent that if in fact with the winds that come, if it spots over the line, that we're making sure, okay, we have this plan in place so that we're able to, that hopefully what the plan is that the fire will burn right up to that and then it just stops. Now the things that kind of make that cumbersome for firemen to fight is the fact that when you get these significant wind changes with it blowing as hard as it is, like you had said earlier, it'll blow over sometimes, not a couple hundred feet all the way up to a mile. They'll throw all the way. And so with that brush being so dry, those embers land in that and it's just off to the races.
Right. So you're expecting the fire movement today on the map here?
Yeah.
To move pretty much to the north and to the east?
So it's kind of like this area it makes it real difficult. What's kind of hard, and if your viewers can kind of see, when you're looking at these topo maps, you can kind of see the farther apart these little lines are separated, it's more of the flatness. When they get real close together, which it's in these rigid areas. So that's what makes it so hard, because it's just hard for our brothers and sisters getting in there and making that access. And it's hard. If you can imagine just something on the steep terrain, it's hard enough trying to get equipment up to that position, trying to get dozers in there to scratch those lines. And that's why, do a heck of a job as far as, and you can see how long some of these stretch for, because they don't want to take any chances, And you got a big towns right here with it as well, and the last thing that we want to do, that's what we're here for, is the life and the safety for the personnel, not only on the line, but as far as the people in which that we're sworn to protect. The good news with it is, as far as really the big points that we have is the fact that over the last 2 days, the weather has cooperated with us very well. With the weather cooperating like that, it enables firemen to get in there and to make some extreme advancements on kind of strengthening those containment lines. What we do here as an agency is we draw a box essentially around the perimeter of the entire fire. We try to hold it to certain boundary lines, whether that's road accesses or it gets to like a riverbed or whatnot, but just breaks in the fuel so that fuel is able to just basically burn up to a specific point and then just stop.
Right, and the box is a pentagon shape.
It kind of looks like that as well, even though the fire may look like a pentagon, we actually draw like a box, so whether that box is standing upright as well, and then from out there, like I said, we have secondary lines that dozers end up just kind of digging lines in there so that the fire is enabled. If it does happen to spot over that line, we're hoping that it's not going to go past our secondary line. So there's always a plan A, B, and C that we have.
And thank you for that. Now, we were hearing that the fire was spotting 1.5 miles ahead before because of the very dry conditions and the inversion that was making the dead drought drought dry tinder fly up into the air. Is that still the case?
That's always the case, and even though winds may be how they are here, remember, it's all at different levels, because the higher that you go up, weather is constantly going to change. Then more or less, that's very important to know, is fire in itself creates its own weather pattern. So with that being said, it makes for a real dangerous combination with that as well. Thing with people that are actually repopulating the area is something to make sure they keep their head on a swivel. Know that fire personnel are actually still out in these areas. You're going to see a lot of engines and trucks and personnel with that as well, doing suppression efforts. The big thing is for them to make sure once they are in fact returning to their homes, know that there can be down power lines. PG&E is obviously up working right now to get those lines up and working. For the fact as well as you got a lot of trees and stuff like that are creating issues in the roadways. So you got Caltrans that are helping assist those issues with it as well. Just like the general public to know, just keep your head on a swivel, have good situational awareness, know around your surroundings right there, be considerate of those fire personnel that are working in the area trying to mitigate this incident and get it under control.
I had another question. How about the fire retardant? I know that some people were saying that, what do I do when I come home and it's on my property, it's on my car or whatever. How do you deal with fire retardant if you happen to have it?
The big thing like that, if homeowners come home and seem to find some of that stuff on their home, remember, it's a biodegradable substance.
Right.
It's not anything that's going to hurt. It's something that could irritate the skin if you have it on there long enough, but for the most part, it's just a good wash down with it as well. What that fire retardant does, it makes it when it hits the fuels, it's real sticky, and so it just kind of binds to that. So the help is that when fire does touch it, it can still burn, but the fact is it's not going to burn as readily as it was if it didn't have any retardant on it as well. That actually helps us, because when those 8 air tankers, or you got a plane like what's called a VLAT, very large air tanker, makes those drops, that helps slow the progression of the fire to get those men and women that are out there on the lines fighting that, to get them in there to extinguish that.
Oh, we're glad we're using it, but it's just that people have been asking questions about, I have it on my car or whatever.
Yeah.
So you're saying,
and it'll wash. It essentially will. It'll wash right off. I mean, it's not going to be the easiest thing to get right off as well. You think of it's like a real soapy substance. It's very, the viscosity of it's very thick with it as well. And like obviously with the colors that you see, it helps really distinguish that, so guys know as well. So best thing to do is you can just clean that material off, and it should be good.
Yeah, as you're scrubbing it off, remember it's your friend.
Yeah, right. You're absolutely right. That's correct.